Hi there, and welcome back to rLounge. Today, we get into the dark arts, also known as mother-in-laws. These witchy women will have your hair standing on end. Legend says a circle of salt wards them off. Up first, the devil is real, and she's a mother-in-law. Mother-in-law stole and burned daughter's tarot cards. My mother-in-law has always been the unusual type, very manipulative, but she will still swear she just loves her family so much. A quick example is when I was dating my wife back in the day. She was supposed to come over for steaks with my parents and me. When she told her mom replied, "I'm just going to tell your family that you don't want to see them today." She ended up standing my family and I up for her mom. Unfortunately, my wife is now only seeing how manipulative she has been throughout her life. This was 18 years ago when it all started. Fast forward to the last few weeks. My daughter is 14. She does suffer from anxiety and depression, but she gets the help she needs. This started around 3 years ago. My daughter was gifted tarot cards from one of her best friends last year. One of my friends bought her a pouch and a crystal. It was actually something she liked to do from time to time and thought that it was cool. We're not religious by any means, but we've gone to church on and off. Not that going to church or not going to church should matter in this case, but I'm stating it anyways. In my opinion, tarot cards are for fun, should not be taken seriously, but I do think it can give you a new perspective in how you might view or feel about something. It's honestly just a hobby like anything else. Well, I don't find my mother-in-law very religious, but she still swears by God. She's afraid of the devil. She thinks scary movies and heavy metal could bring in evil. She swears that having tarot cards in the house is opening up doors for evil to live inside of our home. One day, she's cleaning my daughter's room and leaves. My daughter immediately noticed the cards were gone. I sent my second text in a month to my mother-in-law. Both were about overstepping boundaries and things that were incorrect for her to do. It was very proper and professional. She ignored my text again. She ignored my daughter and my wife. She then finally told my wife that the only time I talk to her is when I'm mean. My texts were far from mean. She said she just loves my wife and daughter, and then decided to lecture me about getting my daughter to learn and live by God. We got into a bit of a screaming match over speakerphone, and it was done. She ignored anything about the cards for 2 weeks before admitting to burning them in her fire pit. Boundaries have been crossed. I don't feel comfortable with her coming over. My family is upset. My wife is now in a tough place. It sucks. I can't stand my mother-in-law, and I haven't even shared the worst part about her. But this incident sent me over the top because it happened in my house. First of all, your mother-in-law should never have made the executive decision to steal your daughter's property and then burn it. It's a shame that her fears led her in that direction. It's essential that you and your spouse present a united front. You and your spouse must explain to your mother-in-law that you choose what's best for your daughter. It's not up to her to make such decisions. She needs to respect your family's choices and trust you all to make the right choices without forcing her own beliefs on you through acts like she just displayed against your daughter. What about you? How do you handle differences in religious or spiritual beliefs within your family? Let us know in the comments. Now we're going to check in with the community, see what they think. Fruit Jerky says, when people steal from your home and burn your children's things, not wanting them in your home does seem like a very reasonable consequence. Random Guy Says Bro chimes in next. Birth control, whether for birth control or hormone regulation. Artwork deemed inappropriate. Marital aids or toys. Vinyl records of rock music. DVDs of classic films. A guitar and sheet music. Mental health, men's, like antidepressants. Clothes. A prom dress with a low neckline. Board games. Computers. Gaming devices, like a PS5 or Xbox. Money from a job or relative she doesn't like. Just a list of things off the top of my head that could quickly and quietly be stolen and burned. No debates about religion or family. Just a bunch of stuff a wackadoodle old lady might be offended by, and so feel justified in stealing and destroying. Not just from her granddaughter, but from her daughter or her daughter's husband. So, if not here, where will you and your wife draw the line? When it's expensive enough? Personal enough? Maybe when it actually affects your wife instead of someone else? Just something to think about. Everyone eventually has their own enough is enough moment, and you might want to think about who will get hurt and how much anger and resentment will build up in the meantime. Our next comment comes from Rubber Ducky Bandit. You can do 2 things for your daughter. Buy a lock for her door. Only you and your daughter get a key. When mother-in-law is over, wear your key. Replace her deck. Take her to a metaphysical shop for the cards and get her a special pouch for storing her cards. This can be a great way for you two to bond and show interest in what brings her comfort. I've been read tarot cards and runestones for decades. The only devil that has tried to possess me is my mother-in-law. Up next, a mother-in-law that wants to conjure up some grandkids. Mother-in-law wants to buy me a Mother's Day gift even though I don't have children. Hello again. I've posted here before for the first time and just want to say it felt so nice to finally have a place where people understand what I'm going through. Mother-in-law tried to get us to come up for Mother's Day weekend to see significant other's new nephew, even though his brother and sister-in-law wouldn't be in town that weekend. We were supposed to meet them and the new baby in a town closer to us, but apparently mother-in-law said it would be best if they left the baby home with her. Significant other and I kinda had an argument because mother-in-law kept sending texts of weekends we should come up since we can't this weekend and pictures of the baby. I mentioned this in my last post, but thought it would be needed for context. Significant other and I finally talked it out, and I told him I didn't understand why we were not making these plans directly with his brother. And also that I need low to no contact with mother-in-law just to give myself space and peace. Also to help me not resent her. I do love my mother-in-law even though I think she has huge issues with respecting others' boundaries. Well, that lasted all but a couple days because she sends him a text saying that she wants to get me a Mother's Day gift. And not something little. Oh no, something pretty expensive, or at least I think so. Also, I don't have kids, and significant other and I have been pretty open about how we do not want children. He told her she didn't have to do that. It's giving me anxiety that she will do it anyways, so I sent her this text today. Name's changed. Hey, significant other mentioned how you want to get me a gift for Mother's Day. While the gesture is really touching, I am uncomfortable with this because regardless of having fur babies, I do not see myself as a mom. I feel like since it is sister-in-law's first Mother's Day, the focus should really be on her. However, I really appreciate you thinking of me, and I'm excited to see you when you come up for random person's wedding. Love you. Is this me just taking her wanting to do something nice the wrong way? I feel like she is insistent on inserting herself dominance in our relationship that has nothing to do with her, and it is starting to make me think everything she tries to do has ill intent behind it. I sent the text because I thought it would be good to set a boundary, but now I'm not so sure. I feel like she tries to set up situations that make me look bad, but also think maybe it's just in my head? Should I have not sent it? You absolutely did the right thing by sending the text. Setting boundaries is healthy. She won't know that you're uncomfortable or not okay with something until you communicate. She needs to respect you and your boundaries. And you're right, the gesture is nice, and she is seemingly coming from a place of love. But if it makes you uncomfortable celebrating you on Mother's Day, the focus should go elsewhere. And that absolutely does not make you a bad person. You are genuine and humble in your communication, and the more you stand up for yourself and remain transparent, the less she will insist on asserting her dominance, and the more she'll respect you in your space. Let's check out some other thoughts from the community. Atomic Fox 84 says, seems like she's not happy about you and not wanting kids, and is trying to hint or possibly try to change your mind. Our next opinion comes from Comfortable Gas 798. It's called love bombing. She wants to control your time and energy. Visit her when she has nephew, and you and significant other are not falling for it. The gift comes with strings attached. You need to visit her because you owe her because she gave you something expensive. It is manipulation to get you to do what she wants. If I were you, I would return any Mother's Day gift she gives you. Thanks, but no thanks. Or maybe give it to the sister-in-law who deserves all the love on her first Mother's Day, and maybe mend the rift between you that I think was caused by mother-in-law. I also would stop communicating with her and let your significant other be her point of contact. He can deal with her crap and keep you out of the line of fire. You can still visit, but definitely keep your very low contact with her. Keep her on an info diet, and when you see her, gray rock all responses. Have significant other contact his sibling directly to arrange a visit to meet their new baby. Mother-in-law wants to be the gatekeeper, and allowing her to do this can lead to triangulation, telling two different people different things to keep control over relationships that do not involve her. Anytime mother-in-law inserts herself between significant other and his siblings, he needs to talk with the sibling directly and cut mother-in-law out of the interaction. Keep reading here and on r/JustKnowMother-in-law so you can recognize future manipulation tactics and how you can avoid and counter her attempts at control. r/JustKnowMIL has an excellent list of publications that could help you and significant other in how you manage your relationship with her. You might introduce your significant other to r/raised by narcissists. Your mother-in-law may not be a certified narcissist, but her need for control is a major factor. Good luck, sweetie. Stand firm and stay strong. Lastly, the Wicked Witch of the East. We aren't in Kansas anymore. Mother-in-law and newborn baby. Okay, so my mother-in-law lives in Florida and my husband and I live in Virginia, near my family. My husband is from the area as well, but his parents moved to Florida a number of years ago. My father-in-law is a very passive person, but my mother-in-law has been quite the monster-in-law from day one. I could go on and on about the nasty things she has said to me or about me behind my back, and I have been nothing but nice to her to try to keep the peace for my husband's sake. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to start drawing boundaries, but I'm not sure how to go about this. I'm currently 32 weeks pregnant with our first and on bed rest until the baby comes. Yesterday, my mother-in-law calls my husband demanding to know when she will be able to come meet the baby. And my husband simply didn't have an answer because we don't know when the baby was coming, and we don't know how we are going to be doing after he makes his arrival. She got very upset at the implication that she wouldn't be able to come up right away, saying that if they lived here, she would be visiting in the hospital, which isn't true, especially because of hospital COVID policies. And it wasn't okay that my family was going to meet the baby first, etc., etc. After a nasty spat with my husband basically saying that he couldn't give her an answer, she hung up on him. Now honestly, it's hard for me to pretend I want to have this nasty person around me and my newborn baby in one of the most vulnerable times of life, especially after them traveling all the way up the East Coast during a pandemic, let alone all the other germs, illnesses out there that kill babies. I'm not going to be comfortable having her around until we've settled into life with a baby, but she's not accepting that as an answer. Even saying a couple of weeks is too long to meet her grandson. Am I the a-hole, or do I need to start being firm with her? The simple answer is, no, you're not the a-hole. Giving birth and bringing a baby home is a wild transition for first-time parents. I get it. Your mother-in-law is excited to have a new baby kicking around, but you are absolutely not obligated to have her around as soon as you come home from giving birth. People need to learn to respect that time after a baby is born. Obviously, your body will be going through some things and recovering. While you're adjusting, your new little family doesn't need the drama around. You call the shots. If you don't want her around right away, be honest. It's key to make the expectations clear up front. If she gets upset, that's on her. She will literally have the rest of her life to see the new baby. She can wait. Our first community comment comes from Potato Bug Blue. I'm sorry you're so stressed out. First of all, please let the hospital know she is not allowed in your room, just in case she shows up. Sit with significant other and tell them you don't want her there for at least a month after the baby is born. It's yours and significant other's time to bond and be with your baby. Remember, if you don't put up boundaries, she will walk all over you, and you are not responsible for her happiness, only your own. When you do allow her to visit, make sure they stay in a hotel. One final thought from I Loathe Kalu. You can come when the baby is 6 months old. Each time you argue, we will push it back a month. You will also need to find a hotel or Airbnb for your stay. Don't let this woman intrude on a moment of your postpartum period. Thank you for joining us today on rLounge. Before you go, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. We would hate for you to miss out on our next video. If you have feedback on today's content, please let us know in the comments below. We can't wait to hear from you. We can't wait